Welcome to What's What with Halima, a podcast where we discuss fashion, Bitcoin, future, technology, and everything in between. So I'm with Sabina today, and I'm not going to make a lot of noise. I would love for her to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Halima, for having me on the podcast.
Thank you.
We've been planning for quite some time, so I'm really happy it's happening. So my name is Sabina, and I am a Bitcoiner, and I love fashion. So this is perfect for me, fashion. I'm Sabina, Bitcoiner, and I'm the co-founder of Tando, a mobile app that allows anyone in Kenya or anyone who comes to Kenya to spend Bitcoin in the country whenever M-Pesa is accepted. And I'm sure I'll explain more how it works. But yeah, that's it. That's what I am.
Interesting. So can you tell me your Bitcoin story? What inspired you to get into Bitcoin in the first place, and how was the journey for you? Was it easy? Was it tough? Was it a rough ride? I want to know everything.
So I first heard of Bitcoin when I was in campus. I feel like if you're in your late 20s, I don't really like me. Most of us, we heard of Bitcoin in campus. And unfortunately, it was introduced to us as a Ponzi school. So we had this group of people that would come and tell you, I'm running this thing where if you give me I can double your money basically. If you give me your 1,000 in 2 weeks, I'll make it to 2,000 shillings. And most people fall for that, especially when we're in campus. We were looking for any extra income so you can go out and do stuff. And a lot of people actually use their pocket money and some even their school fees to enter this Ponzi scheme, and that's how they lost their money. But for me, I didn't do that because I've always been like, let me do my research first, and then so that I can understand this thing better. So it passed me, and also I was kind of broke, so I didn't know how to use my last cents to put into this thing that I don't know. That means I would have slept hungry or something. So being broke saved me, and I'm super grateful for that. So that's when I started doing my own research. I went and searched what is Bitcoin on the internet, and my understanding back then was that Bitcoin is just digital money. That's all I got. And then I was like, we have M-Pesa in Kenya, which is our version of digital money. So M-Pesa is like our version of mobile money. It's a phone-based payment service. It's how people send and receive money or store money. It's a bank account on your phone. And M-Pesa has been around since 2007 in Kenya. So it's part of our culture as Kenyans. If you come to Kenya and you want to pay for anything, so many people prefer M-Pesa to cards or even cash. They prefer M-Pesa to, instead of you paying with card or cash. So it's that's 90% of but that's 4 million Kenyans use M-Pesa, so it's a big deal. So it's this Bitcoin thing, it's not different stuff from M-Pesa, because M-Pesa is digital money. We send and receive money digitally, we store it on our phones, so I don't care about it, it doesn't apply to me or whatever, and I ignore it. So after campus, I was doing my side hustle, and there was a time I was working as a transcriptionist for a US company called Red, and I would transcribe podcasts from time to time. And that's where I came across Bitcoin again. So it was this, there were podcasts talking about crypto, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, all those, and I was like, this thing is following me. So let me actually see if I understand it big, because I had so many of the podcasts I was transcribing, a lot of people are talking about it, the crypto space and all that. And I was really curious, and I had seen, even online, people are getting rich in crypto. So I was like, this is what I need. I was fresh off campus and I wanted to make money. So I reached out to a couple of friends who were doing forex trading, because I thought they would understand this thing. But after talking to them, none of them really understood even what they were doing themselves. So I still didn't get my answer. And then fast forward to a few years later, I actually came across Bitcoin Data website. I came across them online, and that is how. And I saw the first free online classes, and I was like, wow, this is like my opportunity to finally learn about this thing. And this was back in 2022, yes. So, but it was late 2022, so they didn't have like open program for anything. So I applied the next year. I got into the program. I got to learn, and now really understood like how Bitcoin is different from M-Pesa primarily. And I really got to appreciate the technology, its permissionless nature. Like that's my favorite thing about Bitcoin, it's permissionless and decentralized. So yeah, I got to learn, and then I got a job there as a content manager. And I used to do a lot of research before I put content out there, and I feel like that role actually really helps me grow and grow my knowledge of Bitcoin. And later, I co-founded Tando from a problem that I was facing now in the Bitcoin space. And that has been my journey so far, and so far so good. It has really been enlightening. My life has changed for the better, and now I'm wiser. Yeah, really looking forward to keep learning.
Wow, that's a beautiful Bitcoin story, and to say the least, we are so proud of you because I knew you at Bitcoin Data. You were the community, you were the content manager at that time. To see you go from there to being a co-founder of something that is incredible, so incredible, like that everybody is trying to emulate around the world. It's just really incredible, and coming from a fellow woman, it feels so close to home, which brings me to my next question. Bitcoin adoption. A lot of people are after teaching everyone about the technicalities, blockchain, centralization, mining, node, this, that. But at the end of the day, people don't care about that, those technicalities. So creating something like Tando gives people a kind of functionality where they don't need to care about all that stress. It just means spending my M-Pesa. But we have something like M-Pesa in Nigeria, but we're unable to create something like Tando in Nigeria first. It's just difficult. So it's so impressive. So what do you say about creating these kind of solutions where you just make Bitcoin functional for people, in the long run when they see how functional it is, they might try to get in and know about the technicalities and how it works later on. But right now, nobody needs to get that. So yeah, what do you say about building solutions like that?
That's a great question, and it's a very important topic to discuss in the Bitcoin space because it's very true. Yesterday I gave a talk. I was talking about Tando in the Ferry Lounge. Shout out to Ferry, by the way. And that's what I was telling them. I say utility beats theory. Like you can teach people all you want about Bitcoin, like Bitcoin mining. This is how the nodes work in Bitcoin. The ins and outs of the Lightning Network and on-chain and all that. Like a lot of people, yes, you teach theory and maybe they'll get it in that moment, but if they never see it happening or if they never experience it in real life, then it's all just a waste of time. Number two, I also believe that most people will use Bitcoin without needing to understand the inner workings of it. They don't need to, they'll not learn about money, they'll not learn about nodes. They'll just use Bitcoin even without learning. And a great example is basically how we took a taxi coming here. And the taxi driver was driving, but he doesn't know he just ignited the key and started the car, but he doesn't know the inner workings of that car. At home, you don't know how your fridge works, you just switch it on and off, and that's it, it preserves your food. I feel like it's the same with Bitcoin. So when you're creating tools to help people adopt Bitcoin, I feel like it's very important to hide the Bitcoin side of it, let it be in the background. And I feel like one of the reasons why Tando has been so successful, it's because it's a very simple app and it mirrors M-Pesa, which is this tool that people are familiar with and they've been familiar with for 18 years. M-Pesa has been in the system since 2007. And when we were building Tando, the UX experience, we wanted it to feel like you're using it further. And so we just made it feel, yeah, like an extension of an already existing thing that people are used to, that is better. And so even when they're using it, like, yeah, people even call it, it makes the M-Pesa update for the weekend. They don't know that it just feels familiar and fun and safe, and they're like, yeah, I love it. It's simple, basically simplify things. So I feel we need to build more tools that that don't have like Bitcoin. They show the utility of Bitcoin, the practicality of Bitcoin, and not just like theory. Like make it simple, and it's only then that we will help more people understand how Bitcoin works. And yeah, it goes on with you.
I agree with you because not everybody in Africa will be able to do something like Tango. But at the end of the day, we're all looking for functionality. We, especially as Africans, we know there's a problem. So we're all looking for solutions to how this problem is going to be solved. So at the end of the day, let's do functionality. Let's inform them about how it makes every transaction easy, cross-border, charges, and whatnot. So if we're looking at it from those perspectives, I think if we build simple solutions, at the end of the day, it will make so much sense and a lot of functionality.
Sorry, I have something to add to that.
Yeah.
A lot of people also in Africa, they don't have the privilege of time to go and study Bitcoin. I know me and you, we studied Bitcoin. We read, we've done like this Bitcoin data courses and all that. And we're on Twitter, we're always reading and reading every day. But a lot of people don't have that privilege because they're stuck in this fiat treadmill, like they have to keep up with the inflation. So they spend their time hustling. It's wake up in the morning, go to work, hustle, come back at night, sleep. Some don't even get time to spend with their families because, keeping up with inflation, things are hard. You have to pay your bills. So you don't have time to go and sit down and like read the Bitcoin standard from the beginning to the end. So since they don't have that privilege, what can we do to help them? So yeah, build tools like Tando that, bridge that or that combine those 10,000 hours of reading into something simple that they can use and understand. Something that gives them this freedom that Bitcoin offers. So yeah,
I agree. And there's something I've been beginning to discuss, like the burning question that I have. It's one thing to do solutions on Bitcoin, another thing to convince people to get Bitcoin. Because one moment we have 10 shillings, the next we have 5 shillings. So how do we convince people, people that are hungry, people that, saving is actually a huge luxury for them. When they attempt to save in Bitcoin, they actually lose value. And it takes a lot for you to explain that, okay, this is what is happening, it's the reason it's running. They don't care about that. All they want is, I put in 10 shillings, I want to go, nothing else. So, how do we bridge that gap in terms of education? And then do you think we should build a solution or something that stabilizes Bitcoin, or is that dilutes what Bitcoin really is?
That's a good question. I think the best solution to this, it will always be education. But again, like you say, a lot of people don't have that privilege to sit down and study Bitcoin for 1,000 hours or whatever. So building tools that solve that problem, and that's a big topic of discussion. We actually had with some members of Tando when Bitcoin went down to 80 something thousand. Yeah, I suppose I'm like, are you guys still spending it? It was just kind of like a joke or whatever, but people are actually spending. I think there are phases or there are stages of Bitcoiners. There are some Bitcoiners who are not faced by the price. And then there are some who are just hanging out and like, I don't want to put my money there, and then tomorrow I wake up, it's from 50 shillings to 20 shillings. So I think the more you're into Bitcoin and the more you learn, you get it, and the price does not hit you anymore. But for that person who it faces, solutions are very important to combat this. And one that comes to mind is stable sats. So Blink, the Blink wallet, it's a Bitcoin non-custodial wallet. And yeah, you can store your send and receive, store your Bitcoin there. I really love it. First of all, because it's so simple. I love Bitcoin solutions that keep it very simple and straight to the point for a normal platform. And so Blink, they have this feature. It's called Stable Stacks, where it's you can save in your Bitcoin, but it's hedged against the volatility. So we see a lot of people, especially I work with the Afrobeat community in Libra. It's a circular economy in Kenya where people just live on Bitcoins and it's Bitcoin. There's no fiat in that small community, and they leverage this tool a lot. So if someone gets paid or accepts Bitcoin, a merchant accepts Bitcoin at her shop after she has done her sales or whatever during the day. I feel some of them they do 30% in the stable stacks and the 70% they just go with Bitcoin. So whatever you are using or you'll use throughout the week or the month, you just put it in your stable stacks where it's like it won't be affected by the volatility. And then the rest that you're saving for long term, you like kinda put it in Bitcoin. So that's one solution that I know is working, and I know there are a few other solutions, I can't remember the name, that are also like trying to do the same thing, because again, we are not all privileged to handle the Bitcoin volatility. So I feel like volatility, they always say volatility is a bug, not a feature. The more adoption goes, and this is why we encourage people using Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, the more people use Bitcoin, the more stable it becomes because people are finding value in it. And so, if you can spend Bitcoin, just keep spending because you're making the network stronger. It's not just about the gas spending. You're actually giving value to these people. So we should keep spending and spending and spending.
And the thing is, what you mentioned is very interesting because yesterday at the conference, I was hearing conversations from speakers, from the panels, and there was something that spoke with me, right? It was about everybody wants to buy Bitcoin and knowledge. But particularly what Bitcoin was good for. Bitcoin was good for the ones in enterprise or the world. And we have people like in the United States, the United States, we have privilege over someone who can if you are accepted to have life choices and then have something that can be survive, all these things add up. So it brings me to my next question. What do you tell people about my people was amazing people that I want to explain truly understand it is an asset. It depends on how you look at it. Bitcoin is an asset, or is it something you buy and get, or is it something you use every day, like maybe entrepreneurs, the government, everybody. Of course, Bitcoin is for everybody. But how do we explain this to people so they know what the Bitcoin is good for?
So in the original, the white paper, Satoshi is the creator of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer cash system. And this means like he intended for it to be money to be used, like not at all value, a medium of exchange. But I feel like both the medium of exchange and store value, they are functions of money and they ride on each other. There's one can't do without the other. Like if you're using it as a store value, you're still gonna use it as a medium of exchange when the time comes. Because there are some people holding Bitcoin, maybe they're like, in 5 years, I wanna use this because for a house or a house. So you will still use it as a medium of exchange. So that's why you're holding it, because it's a medium, we believe it's a medium of exchange. And like, I feel like for me, I want more people to use Bitcoin. So like we said previously, the more we use Bitcoin, the more we give it value. And the way I love explaining to people, I introduce Bitcoin to people is through inflation. I think like inflation is a very underappreciated topic, especially here in Africa. Like people don't even know what it means. And every time I tell them, I like using our Kenyan shilling as an example. So 1,000 Kenyan shilling, it was a lot of money like 10 years ago. And you'd be so happy if someone gives you 1,000 shilling, or you see your mom holding it's like, so 1,000 shilling, it equates to like $8. I think it's $9 now. Yeah. And it was back then. I think it's like around $89 even now. But it's the value that it gets you now, which has gone down. So you see your mom or your dad, your auntie, or someone just gives you 1,000 shillings. You're like, oh my god, I'm rich, I can do, because you could do so much with it. You could walk to the supermarket and get a big shopping cart and fill it with things and pay with your 1,000 shillings. Sometimes you can get it. But 10 years or 15 years down the line, it's like worthless right now. You go in, buy 2 or 3 things, and then that's it. It's over. And so people keep complaining, and this is an African thing where they're like, hi, how have you been? Or and they start complaining, oh, life has become so expensive, everything is going up, like, this government and so on and so forth. So people feel the pain, but they don't know where the pain comes from, and that's inflation. So I really like having that conversation with people. I explain what it is, how it affects your daily life, how it affects your future and all that. And then you introduce Bitcoin as this great savings technology to start with, and how it preserves your value, it does not erode it and all that. I actually did a video on inflation from X, and it got, people are like, wow, they were getting it. Because it's like, inflation is like diluting Fanta. You have Fanta orange, you're putting water into it, it loses its taste, and you don't want to drink that. That's inflation. And so you introduce Bitcoin as this great store of value that hedges you against this inflation, preserve your savings, and so on and so forth. And so they're like, wow, that's really great. So, okay, fine, now I can save in these Bitcoin, but what if it gets to a time when I need to use it? So, and they're like, can I use this Bitcoin? I'm like, yeah, you can spend this Bitcoin, and that's where I like choose like Tando coming, and tell them like, can use Tando to spend it and all that and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is, because I feel like I've laughed there, but I feel like, store value, medium of exchange, they ride on each other. There's no, they coexist. There's no one without the other. It's what we should just kill that debate and,
Would be afraid to teach people about inflation?
Yeah, I think especially in Africa, inflation is like, I don't know, it's the biggest demon we have. Like, it's the cause of a lot of things. Like, you can see from our currencies, even the Nigerian currency, like our currencies, they can't buy you anything. And so I encourage people to teach about inflation, like hammer on that point, don't get tired about teaching people about inflation. Like, more people need to know, because a lot of people don't understand how it works.
This funny thing that happened, so in Nigeria, when we go to weddings, we get money and so I bought this money, and it was like, this is up to $100.
Oh my god.
Like, that's
and it's like this.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know if money is still in Nigeria, but it's still not up to $100. And in Nigeria, it's still not going to buy you a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to earn. It's not, okay, it's a little bit more than the minimum wage, but it's around that. So that's how big our currency is. I'm sure government are trying to pay it, because the numbers, there's no money, they are not trying to pay us. We can't hide this thing.
Yeah, things are getting out of control right now, and the debt is going up and going up. It's never coming down. So the best option we have right now is to save in Bitcoin. And I feel so bad for a lot of African people. Africans are hardworking. I think, like in Kenya, where I live, I currently live, there's a construction happening. At 6 a.m., these guys, they're already at the site. They're building, whether it's raining or the sun is out, they're building there. And they don't even get paid a lot of money. It's peanuts. So you see how hard they're working, how much time they're sacrificing. But the money they're getting paid in, like, it does not respect them. Like, the amount of value they're bringing in, the money is not equivalent to the value that they are offering the world or whatever they're doing. And I just find that very inhumane, and it's a crime. Inflation is a crime against humanity. It should be treated as a crime.
But if you look at currencies, I don't know how much it is. Your minimum wage in Kenya or in Nigeria, our minimum wage alone it's around, it's not even up to $50. Well,
I feel like it's in Kenya too.
It should be around that. That's the reality.
Most African. Yeah.
It's terrible, and I really hope this kind of solutions actually reduce the rate of suffering among our people, because as a Bitcoiner, and I'm sure we share the same passion, all we are trying to do is make life easier for everyone. You know, Bitcoin is one of the things that it's the closest place to global peace and unity that we're going to get.
Yeah.
So I really hope these solutions work. I hope the government will fight us, but basically like Nigerians, rulers are suffering. They have to maneuver their ways before they meet any. So it's crazy.
It's hard. Like everything is so hard. They make it so hard for us. I feel like everything, I mean, the system, there's so much intentionality there. I thought things were meant to be this way, but it's by design actually. And it's like you're born in Africa, we have so much resources, so many young people, so much talent, and yet we suffer the most, you know, and people extract from us, like the Western countries. And when you go to their countries, they're thriving. It's because they're coming here, getting our resources, they go and build their country. And when you want to go to such countries, like your visas are denied, and like it's like you're left here to suffer. And when you want to go out and see how the rest of the world is, maybe you can learn a thing or two. They don't allow you to go and see like what's happening there. They want you to remain here in this hole, like where you're suffering and there's no way out. And I hope like we can break out of this matrix, because it's very sad. And I also feel like I really wish our politicians and our governments could do better. I don't depend on them too much to do better, but I wish they could be a little humane, you know, because they're in the places of authority and they have power to help us build together, to help the builders like, you know, thrive in whatever they're building. They have this power. And I feel like they always, when they get there in the places of power, they forget about the people. And when they were getting, it's the people who are there. And I would just beg our leaders to not forget the people. Because I believe Africa has so much, not even I believe, everyone knows that it has so much potential. And I just wish we can bring this potential to life. Like we can make something out of it and transform it into the giants of all this meant to be, the giants of success.
Yeah, and I really hope so. So before we round up, I want you to talk about Tando. Okay, from inception to success, you know, your journey, how long it's been, you know, how your volume of transaction increased. So that I want you to inspire someone out there to go out and just do it.
Okay, that's my favorite thing to talk about. So yeah. So actually, fun fact, 1 year ago, a time like this, that's when we officially launched Tando last year. It's actually the so it's been a year. And to be honest, I didn't think we were going to make it this far. You know, like you say, governments don't make it easy for builders. But I think in Kenya, I can say we are a little better than Nigeria when it comes to that sector. Yes. So it's been a year, and oh my God, it has grown so fast. It actually surprises me. I'm part of the surprise of this success Tando has had. So Tando started. It's a problem I was facing. Like I had said earlier, I was working for Bitcoin Data, and that meant I was getting paid in Bitcoin sometimes, and I didn't have any way to spend this Bitcoin. So the original way was for me to go on exchanges, exchange this Bitcoin for USD, then USD potentially, wait for it to reflect in my M-Pesa, and then spend it. And it was like just going through a lot of goods. I just wanted my Bitcoin converted to basic goods instantly, and I can spend it. But no. And it was also like most of my life was happening in Kenya. You know, anything in Kenya actually. My landlord, we pay in Kenya, but they don't accept Bitcoin yet. We've tried, but no. And the grocery store near me, the Carrefour, the public supermarkets, they don't accept Bitcoin yet, so I have to pay in Kenya shilling. And so I was like, you know, I'm really, really tired of this. I wish there was an easy way for us to spend Bitcoin, just like the way we spend our digital shilling on it. So I was seeing, you know, everywhere in San Francisco. I go to a restaurant, whether big or small, like the posh restaurant and hotel, you can still pay even check. So it's like, you know, it's everywhere. And I could imagine that for Bitcoin. So I was like, you know, I wish that if I had a magic wand, I would make a solution like this or transform everything to like a Bitcoin payment option. And so my co-founder, who's like the technical nerd, we were just having this conversation. And he was like, you know what, we can actually tinker around with that. And funny enough, I was not aware of this. He had seen Bitcoin Jungle, which is a circular economy in Costa Rica. They were kind of doing the same thing Tando does with their mobile money network, and it worked. And so he was like, yeah, we can actually tinker with this idea and try and do that. And so we did, and it worked, and we could not believe it. So when it started, we were like, okay, what's next now? Because it has worked. It was just something we were doing for fun in the beginning. But it made us so happy. Just like saying, we had happy friends beta tested. They went out to a restaurant, they paid with Bitcoin, and they sent us a screenshot. And it was just like I can't describe the feeling, you know, it was sensational. It was so good. You know, like the excitement you get when you pay for Bitcoin. Like, wow, I can't believe it's happening. So we were like, you know, this thing, it's bringing us so much joy, so let's share it with other people as well. And we actually opened it up to the public. This was even before the conference last year, and people are using it, they loved it, and then we kind of closed it because it was the MVP, so there were we received a lot of feedback, and so there were a lot of bugs fixed and everything, so we fixed it, and then ABC came, we opened it up to people, and the Bitcoiners were super excited because most of them who came to Kenya, they actually use Tando to pay for things, their taxis, restaurants, and all that. So they didn't have to use their cards or convert their dollars to Kenyan shillings. It was smooth. And from there, we just like, you know, been doing more transaction volume and just making life easy for the Bitcoin spenders in Kenya. And a few success stories about Tando. Number one, we definitely made it easy for people to spend Bitcoin. There's so many people in Kenya who do like online gigs, like the remote jobs, and most of them actually get paid in Bitcoin or crypto, however you want to call it. Some people actually get paid in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or whatever. And they use Tando to like spend their Bitcoin and so on and so forth. But one of my favorite success stories is, so on the Tando phone we have on the screen page, once you pay you get your receipt. And on that receipt page there's actually a slogan down, and it says, I paid with Bitcoin using Tando. So in Kenya there's this culture where you pay with your M-Pesa or mobile phone or whatever. The merchant wants you to show him, here's my message, I have paid, please confirm. So when you pay with Tando and you put it on their faces and they're seeing there, they're looking at it, it's really big. So they say, Bitcoin, tell me more about this Bitcoin. I want to learn more. I've heard about it, and I would like to learn more. So we've seen it, it's sparked curiosity in some of these merchants. Or like random people, you know, sometimes when people pay Bitcoin, they get so excited, they're like, hey, look, I paid with Bitcoin. And I really love that feature. Another success story has been, it's been a great orange peeling tool. Actually, that's part of that. So it's been a great orange peeling tool there to merchants and just for regular Kenyan. We've also seen it as a like will kickstarting circular economy. So in circular economy, what happens is people, you spend Bitcoin, you receive Bitcoin for your business. Like people just spend Bitcoin, they eliminate fiat, and I really love that. But so for example, like a merchant is selling vegetables or groceries, you go to her shop, you pay in Bitcoin, you're happy, you leave. But for her, she needs to go back in the main market outside your community to go and restore her groceries so she can come back and continue selling. And she has Bitcoin, but when she goes out there, her supplier does not accept Bitcoin because it's like this wholesale supplier. Of course, they don't accept Bitcoin yet. So what does she do there? She needs a way she can convert that Bitcoin back into her supply. And so you've seen Tando play a huge role there, which has actually encouraged merchants to accept Bitcoin. So there was this merchant lady in Activist, and she was so scared of skeptical of accepting Bitcoin at first because she didn't know how to convert it back to her supply. But when Tando was introduced, she was very comfortable and she now accepts Bitcoin happily. And this has been the case for so many other merchants. We've also seen Tando become an inspiration to other builders who have gone ahead and actually built their own versions of Tando in their country. So there's Big Spender in Ghana, that was the first one, and they attended the conference last year. They saw what we were doing, they were like, we need this in Ghana. We actually got so many requests last year to bring Tando to other African countries. But as we know, our governments, they don't make it easy.
I saw one of the speakers, I think it's Mohammed. From I can't remember, he was one of the people he said he inspiring the escalator.
Yes.
And Tando was the escalation.
Exactly. And honestly, that makes me so happy. Like that's so impactful. And I'm like, wow, our mission accomplished. So I'm seeing that people, spinning up their own versions in these different countries. They're not waiting for us actually. Regulation makes it so hard to expand, but at least people are taking action, and these builders, and they're being fearless and building their own version. So there's Bitcoin in Ghana, there's Francis in Senegal, and there's actually Tap in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So it's been very inspiring to see Tando provide value, not just in our own country in Kenya, but across the continent as well. And I could go on and on about so many things, but it's just been a success. And it's been a very humbling experience seeing Tando, provide this value and make people life easier and so much better. Yeah. And for the transaction volume, yesterday we crossed 1.5 billion sats. And let's say 1.5 billion sats to itself. Yeah.
Congratulations! That's about 15 Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So I still can't believe it. It always feels like I'm dreaming, but I'll be dreaming as the team.
That's crazy.
But that actually shows you, what happens when you actually build solutions that people want. When you actually build for people, not for yourself, and provide real value. And I hope to see more Tando-like solutions. It doesn't even have to be Tando, but just provide value and make it simple. Make it simple, make it feel familiar, and let's help people adopt this thing, and let's help people, experience or benefit from the freedom that Bitcoin offers. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sabina. It was really nice having you behind me. And I really hope you come to Nigeria or I come to Kenya too.
Yeah.
So we can have more
conversations.
of this.
Yeah.
Time is not on our side, and with too much details.
I know, I'm a big yapper, and so I was trying not to yap too
No,
much.
you weren't yapping. It was so interesting. I was enjoying it. That was why I wasn't interrupting you. I just wanted to ask you before. You were making so much sense, and I'm happy you broke everything down. And I'm happy that we have the same perspective on Bitcoin. So I really hope it communicates well viewers. I hope it resonates with them. I hope they learn. I hope it inspires them. I hope the Bitcoin ecosystem inspires them. And I hope all the Bitcoiners out there are going to see this and feel good Bitcoin solutions.
Amazing. Yeah, I hope so too, guys. And actually, you can actually use Tando from whichever country you are. You don't have to be Kenya. the recipient is the only one who has to have a Kenyan mobile number. So even if you're in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, South Africa, America, wherever you're watching from, you can just download Tando. It's available on the App Store and the Play Store, and just play around with it, like see how easy it is to make Bitcoin payments in Africa or to Africa using Tando. So I hope you get to try out. Study Bitcoin if you're privileged, if you have the time. Don't aimlessly scroll on social media. If you get scrolled on social media, you can definitely make time to study Bitcoin.
There's all the information on social media, so I think they can utilize social media, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast. So all these things become more relatable. It doesn't feel so much like hard work. You can just be watching hard work.
You're doing whatever.
Yes. So yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sabina.
Thank you, Halima.
I hope the next time we're going to do this will exceed 100 Bitcoin, 100 BTC transactions.
It will be 150 next time.
Amen. Looking forward to it.
Me
so
too.
excited.
Thank you so much.
So much.
All right. Bye.